The night was pitch black, and the pouring rain created a shimmering curtain that made the road ahead seem like a watery abyss. I'd always enjoyed the solitude of late-night drives, but that night would shatter my love for them. I'm Sarah, and I was driving to visit my family in a distant town. The GPS had led me onto a desolate stretch of road, far from the familiar highways. As the trees on either side of the road loomed like silent sentinels, I felt a creeping sense of unease. My headlights cut through the darkness, revealing fleeting glimpses of the eerie forest. The rain hammered on the roof, and the radio played nothing but static. The only solace was the rhythm of the engine. Up ahead, I spotted a figure by the side of the road. A hitchhiker, their soaked clothes clinging to their form, extended a thumb in silent plea. My foot wavered over the gas pedal, but my empathy overcame my fear, and I pulled over. The hitchhiker was a man, his eyes downcast as he climbed into the passenger seat. He introduced himself as Jack and mumbled his thanks. He explained that his car had broken down, and he'd been walking for hours in the rain. The conversation was strained, his responses terse. I couldn't shake the feeling that he was hiding something. Jack's presence, though, offered some comfort against the solitude of the night. The rain showed no signs of letting up, and my phone had no signal. As I navigated the winding road, I attempted to engage Jack in conversation. He answered my questions vaguely, his gaze fixed on the road ahead. Something about him seemed off, as if he were more preoccupied than he let on. The minutes turned into hours, and I realized that I had no idea where we were. The rain had reduced visibility to a minimum, and the surrounding forest seemed to close in on us. I was lost in the wilderness with a stranger who was becoming increasingly unsettling. Jack finally spoke, his voice quivering. "We're not alone out here, you know." My heart raced as I asked, "What do you mean?" Jack's answer was chilling. "There are things in these woods, things that aren't human. They come out when it rains like this." I tried to dismiss his words as paranoia, but the unease had taken hold. The relentless rain, the shadowy forest, and Jack's cryptic warning all conspired to heighten my fear. The windshield wipers struggled to keep pace, and visibility was almost non-existent. The world outside had become an abstract of darkness and water. Jack's whispers grew louder and more urgent. "We need to get out of here. They're closing in." I didn't know what he was talking about, but the panic in his voice was palpable. My instincts took over, and I pressed harder on the gas pedal, desperately searching for a way out. Suddenly, a figure appeared in the middle of the road, illuminated by the car's headlights. A woman, drenched and disheveled, stood there with vacant eyes. I slammed on the brakes, my heart in my throat. As I came to a stop, Jack's voice quivered. "Don't look at her. Don't make eye contact." The woman's gaze locked onto mine, and a chill surged through me. Her presence was unnatural, and she moved towards the car, her lips parting in a soundless whisper. Jack's voice grew more frantic. "Drive! Drive!" I obeyed, and the car lurched forward. The woman's figure disappeared into the dark forest. My heart pounded as I sped down the road, leaving her behind. As we continued, Jack began to explain. "They're the lost ones. They come out in the rain, searching for company. If they catch your eye, they'll never leave you alone. They'll haunt your every waking moment." The road ahead remained a dark, twisted maze. I was caught between my fear of the unknown and the fear of what I'd just witnessed. As the minutes passed, the rain showed no sign of abating. Jack's story began to weigh on me. I had to escape this nightmare. I spotted a dilapidated motel in the distance and pulled into the parking lot. The rain drummed on the car roof as I turned off the engine. Jack and I exchanged worried glances. Inside the lobby, an old, tired man manned the front desk. He paid no attention to us as we checked in, and his indifference was unsettling. As we walked to our room, I couldn't shake the feeling that something was off about the place. The air was heavy, and the dim, flickering lights cast long, eerie shadows on the walls. The room was damp and had a musty smell. I was desperate for rest, but my unease was growing. Jack seemed to sense it too, and we agreed to lock the door and get some sleep. As I lay in bed, listening to the relentless rain, I couldn't shake the feeling that we were being watched. The shadows in the room seemed to come to life, and I felt a presence in the darkness that defied explanation. Suddenly, the faucet in the bathroom turned on by itself. I jolted upright, my heart pounding. The door creaked open, and a figure emerged from the darkness. It was the woman from the road, her vacant eyes fixed on me. She glided closer, her wet footsteps leaving no trace on the floor. The room grew colder as she approached, and her outstretched hand reached for me. I screamed and scrambled to my feet, waking Jack. He saw the woman too, and grabbed my arm, pulling me toward the door. We burst out into the rain-soaked night, leaving the motel and its malevolent inhabitant behind. We drove through the storm, away from the sinister motel, and the rain eventually subsided. My hands trembled on the steering wheel as I tried to put distance between us and the horrors of that night. Jack and I never spoke of the lost ones again. We knew that some things were better left unexplained. As the miles passed and the darkness receded, we clung to the knowledge that we had escaped a nightmare.